In this video, we're going to be going over prompting 101. This video is specifically for you if you're an active AI user or if you're just getting started for the first time. Regardless, you're on the right place. Now, if you're currently using any of the AI tools, specifically if you're using ChatGPT, you've definitely typed something like write me an email or write me a proposal or give me ideas for something. Maybe it's something for work or maybe it's just something at home. And when you've done this, the result that you got was a little bit off. In fact, it could have been very kind of off the wall sounding. We've talked about that in other videos, and you're certainly not alone if you get that. That's because ChatGPT and any of the other AI tools need a little bit more. They need frameworks, they need context, they need a little bit more information so they can be the most useful tool available for you. Now, as I mentioned there, it is a tool. And like any other tool, it works when you best know how to use it. So we want to expose you and give you our three-piece framework for writing prompts, specifically when you're using ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any of the other tools. And within this, I'll also give you a few real-world examples, so it's pretty straightforward how to use this. So I mentioned we have this three-phase framework for prompting. I want you to think of a great prompt as a little sandwich made of three parts. The first part is going to be context. The context is what's the situation? Who is the AI pretending to be? This could be it pretending to be an advisor for you, a marketer for you, an email marketer specifically, or something like that. The second piece would be you want it to give it a task. That's specifically what you would like it to do. So if we say, hey, ChatGPT, today you are my email marketer, and I want you to write an email on my behalf for a specific reasons. And then the style is the third piece. The style is simply how it should sound or how it should be formatted. Think of this as saying, I want to have a very formal tone, or not only do I want to have a very formal tone, but I'm going to be putting your outcome in a Google Doc. So please format it in that way. So then we've talked about our three-phase process, a three-piece framework. Let's go through a couple of examples so you can see how this works in real time. Now I'm going to pull up ChatGPT. Now this version that I'm using is just an open version. I haven't pre-popped it with anything. I haven't used it in the past. This is just a free run-of-the-mill ChatGPT version. Now, the thing you can't see off screen is I've also done some work myself and created some notes that I wanted to use for this session. That way I can simply copy and paste into ChatGPT at any time without having to write my prompts real time. I find this to be really helpful. So let's come up and let's type in a very general prompt. And what that prompt is going to be is for collaborative, let's say I need to write a blog about a nonprofit campaign. Now, when I click the execute button, when I hit the execute button, you're going to see that it's going to come back with a very simple response, right? Now, this response that it's going to give is going to have some general information about, nonprofit campaigns, but it's not going to be really targeted in any specific way. It's going to try to go out to the web, or it's going to try to look at its knowledge base to give us the most general information specifically about a nonprofit campaign. So while this isn't terrible information, it's really not nearly as useful as it could be if it was really highly dialed in for a specific task. So instead of instead of starting with this nonprofit campaign language, let's actually use our three-pronged framework to write a really good prompt. Now again, I'm copying and pasting this from my side. Coming in and I'm pasting in the prompts. The prompt that we came up with is, you're a content strategist for a nonprofit communication agency. Write a 200-word blog post summarizing the launch of a new national workforce report. Make the tone warm and inspiring, and highlight three key data points and then end with a call to action. So while this is a much longer prompt, and it took me probably 4 times as long to create, it took me a few minutes to create. This is using our three-piece framework, and it's giving me a much better result based on what I need. So when I hit execute here, you're going to see that instead of it bringing generalized information in, it's going to be talking specifically about not only my topic, but in the tone I want it to sound like. And it's going to give me some specific data points that it can relate to being the link that it wants to be. Now, this is going to be something I'm going to encourage y'all to go and try yourself. Anybody y'all can use it. You can do this in ChatGPT, Perplexity, or any of the other ones. And remember the three pieces: context, context, task, and style. Now I've gone over that, and I could leave the training there, and I think this is a really good building block for you. Let me talk to you about one of the biggest pieces, one of the biggest misses people make that we see on a daily basis. Now that I've drafted this initial press release, I've asked for this initial information, I then need to remember that AI is a conversation. And more importantly, I don't have to get the prompt exactly right the first time I do it. So for instance, I've looked here and I have this really good prompt here that I started with, but I just said I'm a communication agency. I didn't say specifically who I was with. I didn't give any like geo information. I didn't give any specific reports that I wanted to look at. I just told it to write me a very general press release. So what I can come here and do is I can actually modify it very simply. So I'm going to come back here and I'm actually going to do this real time. I'm going to say, this is good. However, my agency is Collaborative Communications based in Washington, D.C. The report is something we released 6 months ago. As a reminder, ChatGPT does not have the most up-to-date information. It's going to have within about a month or so, but it's going to be from before. And then say, I want the tone to sound like a CC partner. Now, ChatGPT is already going to pick up that CC means collaborative communications, who also wants to feature our 25-year anniversary. Find any information that will be helpful online about us and rewrite. So you all saw how long that took, and I'm already getting a result here as it's tailored in my response. And you can see here the information. Now, again, it's still 200 characters or 200 words because that's what I'd ask for, but this is going to be much more dialed in. So I hope that this training has been helpful. This is 101 prompting. We're going to be going into a lot more detail very soon and be going into a lot of ways in which we can not only write prompts that speak to themselves, but also interact with other prompts as well. Thanks.